as a recovering tool, guys, we need to go around the room and share things that are blue. So, Blue Man Group.
Blue cheese.
I got meth, dude. I can't think of anything else. It's just meth.
You know what they
Meth on
say? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something bomb.
Maybe blue, but it's the
meth.
bomb.
Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam, and I'm, of course, joined, as always, by Terry.
Yes! Hey! How's it going?
It's good, man. And we are back here breaking down Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. Boom. Yes, go.
It's like the first thing you said on this sideshow, and it's been played on every single one since. It's awesome.
It is, and yeah, I have a good setup for it now, so I'm not messing up that part. So I'm doing a decent job, I think. A-. All right,
that's why I'm here, folks.
We are that is. We are breaking down season 3, episode 9, Kafkasque. How do you say this word?
Oh, it's Kafkaesque. They said it enough times in the episode.
I'm an idiot. I didn't realize. Put 2 and 2 together. Kafkaesque. Okay. Anyway, Kafkaesque. First time saying that. First try. This episode did premiere May 16th, 2010. Looking forward to diving into this one because we do get to see some aftermath of this big event that happened to Hank and the White family as well, seeing what happens afterward. And we'll also see some tension possibly between Jesse and Walt as they're working together, packing lots of cargo crates of the blue stuff, blue meth. Try the blue stuff. It's delicious. But yeah, really looking forward to diving into this. Big.
Is that a Beauty and the Beast reference?
You got it.
Try the blue stuff. It's delicious.
It is.
Man.
And nutritious.
Wow. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah. Anyway, I first off, I love how this episode started off with a commercial, and it immediately, like, I went down this rabbit trail in my head. I was like, how many other fast food joints started out from such humble beginnings like this? Like, I'm trying to think, like, did KFC do this? It's like, I know I've seen the founder, so I kind of think McDonald's did that, but having like ever have a throwback commercial to like, this is how we started, and we like to hold up these values for our future customers. Has there ever been like a fast food commercial like that? Like,
I don't know.
Think of? Maybe
but
Wendy's.
That raining chicken actually looked really good.
It did, actually. Only fresh ingredients. And I was like, oh, I said last week, I was like, I want some chicken. I kind of want chicken now as well. Las Pollos Hermanos. But yeah, we got to see a little bit more of their operation. And I think that's kind of really fascinating as well. So without further ado, let's just dive into this thing and start breaking it down.
Let's do it. Season 3, episode 9, entitled Kafkaesque.
Not what I said.
Not whatever he said. All right, here we go. The old gang is back together. Walt and Jesse making more meth than ever before, making more money than ever before, and Jesse wondering why they aren't making more. Hank is awake, while Marie is getting worried about next steps. Insurance doesn't cover the treatment and physical therapy she feels Hank needs. Sound familiar? Walt goes to visit Gus on the chicken farm to feel things out. Did Gus make the warning call to Hank? Were the cousins actually after Walt? Is Gus protecting Walt? Did Gus distract the cousins with Hank because he knew Hank could take them out? Does Walt lose the protection after 3 months? Is his contract renewable? That last question is the only one he gets an answer to. And the answer is yes, it is. Potentially even with a raise. Meanwhile, Jesse is getting antsy. He doesn't want to pay taxes or buy a nail salon. He is still going to his rehab counseling sessions, but now he is seeing it as an opportunity to deal. He invites Badger and Skinny Pete to attend and talk up the blue meth. But where is Jesse getting the blue meth? He's skimming it off the top from Gus's lab. Now, back to Hank and Marie. How will Hank get the best care? Oh, Walt and Skyler could pay for his treatment. But where did they get the money to do that? Gambling. Skylar spins an elaborate tale of Walt's gambling addiction. It's quite the lie, because she learned how to from the best. Now that's Kafkaesque.
All right. Well, this episode did teach me how to pronounce Kafkaesque, so I give it points for where it's
Still not fully sure what it means. We'll have to figure this out.
Yeah, I much research is needed for that word. Anyway, this is an interesting episode here. I have some questions on Skylar's motives here. She did spin a web of truths there. I think that's awesome that she's able to play the game. As I'm thinking about it, though, I'm like, isn't it? Can it be just explained away? Like, if we're really thinking about it, but you're also playing with Marie's emotions at the same time here. Yeah, so it's interesting the game that she's playing here, and I kind of respect it as well. The Ted Beneke stuff, I could take that out of it. I think that kind of just like, whatever, dude. I think get a hint, read the room,
which he was able to do last time, and he can't do this time. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, anti-Stickman.
I have a definition of Kafkaesque for you, by the way.
Oh, there we go.
It's extremely unpleasant, frightening, and confusing, and similar to situations described in the novels of Franz Kafka. So Kafkaesque.
Could be a Stickman nominee. All right. But I think a really fascinating thing is that Walt knows a game that's being played, and that is with Gus. I think that's a fascinating conversation that is had in this. He's realized that he's been playing checkers, and Gus has been playing chess all along. So now, Walt seems to be at the big boy table now. It seems like, until he tries to like commit suicide, until he gets cold feet at the very last moment with like the closing your eyes on the freeway, like that. That's kind of odd. The Jesse situation.
What's interesting about that, though, is, like you said, it's like Walt's been playing checkers and Gus has been playing chess, but he recognizes the game too. Like, he's able to stop and be like, wait a second. These are the strings you're pulling, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And Gus doesn't answer any of the questions, but in not answering the questions, you kind of get your answer.
The devil's in the details, and the silence is also a huge factor. Gus is a very observant person, so he holds everything really close to the chest, and his silence kind of reveals the alternative motives in a way as well. So it's really cool to see kind of Walt get to the big boy table. That seems like, so it's really cool there. The Jesse stuff aggravated me with the wanting to skim off the top. I get that he's there now for the money. He hates taxes like we all do, but you can't escape them. Life, death, and taxes.
But at the same time, each of those bins is supposed to be 200 pounds. So, so it's excess that isn't supposed to be there. So who's gonna miss it? That's why how he's looking at it.
Are we believing that there's not a camera in there? Like Gus isn't monitoring this thing? Won't Gus see this? Jesse is not observant to cameras. That's what I thought about this, and I really think Gus isn't stupid. This is Gus's warehouse. You're in enemy territory, boys. You are going behind the lines and making this stuff. You are not in control of your element. You think you are, but you're not. There has to be something there. I do not buy that he's just skimming off the top and it's going to be, no one's going to notice that. I don't know.
It's a fair point.
Jesse is in cameras. It's like his kryptonite. He's an idiot to him, oblivious to him. So anyway, that kind of stuff. That was like the first thought I thought of. I'm like, you're in his warehouse. Like, he had a random guy you didn't even know last week come in and caught you like blowing yourself. Like, what's going on? Like, you don't think that I chose my words carefully. Anyway, you don't think that like he's monitoring that place? Like I don't know. That's kind of it's like, man. Anyway, but it is fun to see these characters. This might not be my favorite episode of this season, but at the same time, it's still a really, really good episode because it's Breaking Bad. And I think what they do here, even when you have characters who are not fully themselves, like in a coma or in a fugue state or bedridden, you can still have a little sense of humor. It's like, asshole. Yeah, that was great with Hank and Steven. I absolutely loved it. That was great. And then Marie getting her heart broken because
Yeah.
insurance.
There's some really interesting stuff going on in this one. And you look at it, we've got 4 episodes left in the season.
Yes, I just realized that earlier.
This is the start of a buildup you got to feel towards how we're going to end this season and where are we going. And so we'll talk more about that at the end of where we possibly could be going. But it feels like we've got a long way to go before anything huge happens that would be like season finale worthy.
Yeah, because that's an interesting thing. Because I thought the cousins were going to be something like the big boss, but they just happen to be this little mini boss. What's going to happen? I don't think Gus just stays around for season 3. Like he has to. That he seems such a vital character, that a big foe, that there's so many storylines, so many things he's tied to. What possibly could go bigger than really with him? I don't see that storyline ending, and I frankly I don't want it to. I like Gus. Maybe I just like Giancarlo Esposito because his name's awesome and he's awesome. So yeah, I don't know.
Both things are possible.
Both things are possible.
Well, let's get into our categories here. What's the best scene of this episode?
The return of the veggie tray. Quite frankly, it's the sit down between Gus and Walt.
Was there a veggie tray there?
There was. I caught that right away.
It.
There was a veggie tray in the middle of the table. Look at this photo right here. I put it up on here. If you're looking at it, there's a veggie tray. Hold on. Is it up there yet? There it is. There's a veggie tray right behind the coffee maker. Coffee thing. It's a veggie tray. Yes, let's go. Veggie trays.
You have to. You have to.
Why did he make a veggie tray for one guy? Like, that's just great. He must have went to like the school of hospitality. But the great sit down scene, like I said, like he figured out that he was playing chess the whole time. Walt. The only thing that hurts the scene is what happens after, when you have the moment where he decides to close his eyes on the freeway and almost freaking runs head on with a semi.
Yeah, was weird.
That is a weird little nugget to it, because I'm like, wait a second, you just put yourself on the same page as Gus, and you realize he's probably playing you as well. But like, you're gonna try to like end it. That's kind of weird and random.
Yeah,
but
that's a good.
But it's a great sit down scene. It's one of the best sit down. It's definitely top 3 sit down scenes in that one room for sure. We've had 3 of them. It's definitely in the top 3.
Definitely in the top 3. It's the only one where you feel like it's like you have equals looking at each other, right? Where it's like,
that is true.
But the way I wrote it in my notes is Walt is putting all the cards on the table. It's like, okay, here's what I know, and here's what I think, and here are all the strings I think you're pulling. And I respect the strategy. On the same, I respect the strategy. Yeah, that's the fascinating line there. Is he's looking at it and saying,
that was the line I wrote.
You sacrifice Hank. I get it. I see where you're going. I see what you're doing here.
I would have done the same thing.
See, now here's why this is a sneaky good episode, though, because there are probably 5 or 6 scenes you could say is the best scene in this episode. Like, there's not like the one, like usually we're like, okay, we got to talk about this one scene because that is the scene. And those are like those like top-notch episodes. This one, like, okay, that's a really good scene. But the scene I wrote down is the scene in the therapy session where Jesse describes the box. Because that's just such a great scene, and it's a great moment. And talking
With
about
Mr.
something
Pike.
that what would he want to do and what could he do, and he talks about making this box and getting pushed to do better and how he showed he could do his best work and the detail that he put into it and how he still knew every detail even though this was back in high school. And then he gave it to someone for an ounce of weed. And you get the idea of just this is who Jesse has always been.
He's
Whenever he shows potential, he always makes the mistake right after that.
he is a self-saboteur. That is a fascinating thing. It's great to see our familiar face, the counselor. I pulled up his name, but I guess I forgot to write it down as my familiar face. But that's the obvious answer. He is the one that has come up again. But it's cool to
Jerry
see him.
Burns
Yeah,
as
that's it.
group leader.
That's group leader. Again from classic movies like that Lindsay Lohan Tyra Banks movie. But that's the only thing I remember. That's the only thing I've seen of his. But anyway, he's really good in this episode again. And he's only popped up less than a handful of times. I think maybe 4 times now. That first time, that the time that he reveals how his daughter dies, that is such like a heartfelt. So you already have that connection to this guy, and now he's trying to dig a little deeper into people's psyche. And when he gets into Jesse's, and you see that he's building this box, and then he was going to give it to his mom, but he didn't. And you can tell it's like, yeah, you're self-sabotaging. You can't have yourself have good things. And who knows, that probably has to come down to maybe Jesse's like parents in a way, because like when he went, this is maybe looking way into it, but it's like the having like Jesse when he made a bad decision while going to drugs, and he probably tried to get clean and maybe just stays off him. So every time he tries to do, he's feeling good. He knows like something that he's going to disappoint them, and he goes back to doing it again. So it's like, why should I even try to bother? Maybe I don't know. That's looking way too much into it. There's definitely some hurts there that I think it would be really interesting, honestly, to have like a flashback scene with just him and his parents to see kind of like how that relationship was when he was in high school, how it was when he was high. I'm not sure. Like, we haven't seen his parents was it the beginning of the season or was it last season?
I think it was the beginning of this season when he bought the house.
Okay, yeah. So we haven't seen his parents in quite a long time. So having an episode where we see his parents again and seeing that kind of that hurt relationship there, it would be kind of interesting. I know we had some flashback scenes before, so it would be interesting to see if we go down that route. Who knows if we have time for it or whatever happens, but I think there's definitely some hurt there with his parents. So he just kind of gets in his own way, even when he's trying to do good, because maybe he just knows he's going to disappoint them. I don't, maybe that's something we can see happening.
That's an interesting point. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that idea. But yeah, I think every scene with the therapy group is really interesting. Like, you got the first scene where he talks about working for the totally corporate laundromat, and
Boss is a dick.
boss
The
is a dick.
the main boss is a super
Owner
dick.
is a bigger dick, super dick. Yeah.
Super dick. That is a good point. There's like 3 different like story times that he does have.
And then there's the one with Badger and Skinny Pete.
That's definitely the most frustrating one. It's like,
but
wow.
It's like it's effective. Like, it's actually working what they're doing there, and they're spinning quite the tail, and it's working the way it's supposed to work. And those two are such goobers that whenever you see them and they're trying to be serious, it's just so funny. It's so great.
I miss Skinny Pete's Bronco. That's what I do miss, though. But anyway, Badger's great. I love the beanie.
Stay
Badger's
strong,
beanie,
brother. Stay strong. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. The Ken Wins Douchebag Award goes to
Ted Beneke.
Ted Beneke.
Screw that guy. Good hint. Read the room. But the thing is that Marie was playing into it. Marie was totally playing into it. But I have also. Go ahead.
Marie has an inkling of what's going on here.
True.
She's got to have it's like, so Ted sent us flowers and a whole basket of stuff, and Now he's showing up late at night at the house. Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna get out of your way and let you guys
And this brings into a
discuss.
discuss, conversate. Anyway, it always but this conversation that they're having brings up one of my like least favorite things that in movies or TV that gets brought up. Having some character who needs to leave the room say, "I'm gonna go take a bath. I'm gonna go take." No one would ever say. I don't think I'm not gonna tell somebody who just walked in the house, "Hey, I'm gonna go take a bath or take a shower." I'm just saying, like, I'll let you guys talk and leave. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
it's kind of weird. I'm
Better
like, that's
say,
one
I'm
thing.
just gonna let you guys talk then. I'm gonna go in the back and get naked.
Yeah, I'm like,
Excuse
I'm
me.
like, I'm like, what is he the biggest stick? Are you attracted to him too, Marie? Like, what your husband's like? Again, he's stiff, but he's on. He's got shot. Like, calm down. Like, why are you advertising, Marie?
No, it's a good point. It's a good point. And yeah, Ted,
My little
like
gripe.
we like we're honoring Ted for understanding when it's time. That's my cue to leave. Yeah, he didn't catch the cue this time.
Oh,
He
because he wasn't
just
thinking with the cues. He was thinking with his. I could be a
oh
stickman vibe.
he was thinking with his cue, all right.
Yeah. Okay, I was trying to go somewhere, but you did it better. You did it better. I like it. I like he was thinking with his cue, his pool cue.
He didn't
Anyway,
take the cue. He was thinking with it. All right.
yeah, I like it.
The Pinkman Stickman Award is not Ted. Who is it?
There's a couple answers here. We could go with the Chicken Brothers because they look like some studs. We're talking about
Los Buenos Hermanos.
we're talking about his Tio. He was he was a heartthrob. But these guys, they show a picture of in this commercial. I'm like, I can see it, dude. Like that's a stick man right there. But we have better answers here. We could go with Mr. Pike, who
That's who I went with.
yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Pike, because he does handle his wood.
He's a woodworker.
He's a woodworker. But we'll have you discuss that in a second. But I'm gonna go with the hypothetical pink man. The hypothetical pink man.
Okay.
In the situation at the laundering salon there. He said hypothetically, he has the nail polish. This is your pink man because it's pink, and you're like out doing banging chicks or whatever, but you want to have your money, and the tax man comes and he takes all your money. But if you launder it this way, so hypothetically, he was getting it in. Hypothetical pink man, the nail polish might have got it.
So Saul's hypothetical story has a stick man in it. So that's what
Exactly. That's what I'm going with, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's great.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
No, it's great. It's a good call.
I'm sticking with Mr. Pike because, like I said, yeah,
he handles his wood fine.
Okay, best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo award. You said the group leader.
Well, it's familiar. That was definitely a familiar face. It's not a new face. We haven't seen him in I think a while. It definitely got to be
it was like episode 1 or 2.
One. That's right. He gets out of the rehab and he's there.
Yeah,
so definitely 1 or 2. I think. Yeah, we haven't seen him for a while. Been a couple, like at least 7 episodes. He's really good. Mm-hmm. Definitely a key character here.
So the one I went with is I think we've seen him once before, but we see him a little bit more. It's Hank's doctor, played by Mark Herlick.
Yeah, definitely a familiar. Yeah, definitely, he looks very familiar.
Yeah, and I was like, I know that face. So I started going through his filmography, looking for stuff. He was the stepdad in Jurassic Park 3. Like the opening scene.
Yeah. Nothing yet. Holding the camcorder. Okay, I got you.
He was in a few episodes of Prison Break. He was in an episode of House.
I know of it.
Yep. So there's just some random stuff, but he is like the ultimate. Oh, hey, that guy. I don't know who you are. I don't know what I know you from, but I know your face.
Good call. That's a good one. He definitely had the most familiar face character.
Call me minor character. The Stephen.
There's a couple options here. There's a couple options. I would have loved to see that freaking the late honorable mention here is that the lady, we're asking the doctor, and the doctor just rephrases what she says. What was her like? That has to be the insurance person. No, it's not the insurance person, but that's
Hospital
basically
administrator, I think is what
yeah,
she's
the administrator that
illness.
handles the billing and the insurance stuff. That character is pretty interesting. I would have loved her freaking just like, oh, I don't get paid enough for this shit. I would
Right?
I would have
Right?
loved to have her say something. Oh, be smart with me. See what happens. I can totally see it. I would have loved
I'm
that.
getting too
Best
old
character
for
ever.
it.
Anyway, but it's got to go with Badger simply for the fact he Badger could just stand there. Did you see what it was on his shirt? Badger's
No.
shirt is the most fascinating thing about this episode. He's wearing a tarantula shirt. There's like this Hawaiian looking shirt. There's like 7 different spiders in this t-shirt that he's wearing. His button-down shirt with his little beanie. There's so many different spiders inside of it. Is he a spider stickman? Like what's going on there? Like that is such a fascinating shirt choice. So I gotta give props to my man Badger. Like Badger's a great character now. He's definitely worn on me. I love the Badger.
Badger is one that whenever he pops up, the second he's on screen, you just have to start laughing. Because Badger's in this one. Like he's just that kind of character that's gonna make you happy, gonna make you laugh just by simply showing up.
Correct. It's an abstract shirt, but like I didn't write down Badger as my minor character. I put Badger's shirt. Like I put Badger's shirt. Says spider shirt. That's the minor character, the spider shirt.
I put the group leader, which we've already talked about, so I'll switch up a little bit. Saul. I mean,
yeah. Like mad props to the guy for not freaking flinching when his feet was getting rubbed. Like that's Stone Cold Fox right there.
Petty. And congratulations, this place is yours.
Yeah. So how that scene plays out, I would never have expected it was Saul's feet. I honestly thought it was Hank's feet. I thought it was Marie massaging Hank's feet because it happened right after something they were talking about Hank. So I thought it was Hank's feet. I was like, dang, man, he has no nerves. And then they show it's Hank. I'm like, he has no nerves either because I would be flinching the hell out of that. Like, no,
yeah, right?
Especially the sole of your feet. No. I'm swarming there.
Cowhouse, dumbest thing said. For this, I gotta go to Badger. Darth Vader had responsibilities. He was responsible for the Death Star.
Two of those bitches. I had wrote that down too. That line was like, heck yeah, it's a good call. That's something that you would hear like off in Clerks too. It's a great line of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
But my dumbest thing said it's 96 million to our 3. The people doing the work doesn't get what is it? Oh, it doesn't get the fist. Don't get fisted or whatever. The people doing the work shouldn't be fisted or something like that. But something to that effect. But the 96 million to the 3. It's actually he's like I did that math 10 damn times. 96 million. Yo. It's good.
That's a good one. The other one I was thinking is
line was great.
Right after the Darth Vader line, Jesse keeps talking, goes, "That's not right, man. That's Kafkaesque." And Skinny Pete goes, "Church, man." Yes. I don't know what you just said, but I'm gonna agree with it.
Respect, bro. Yeah, hell yeah.
Does it say respect? It's church.
It's church. Yeah, it's church.
Yo, I'm Skinny Pete. Problems, outdated. What do you got?
48 hours, Nightline. I don't think they have Nightline. She even acknowledges they don't have Nightline. It's definitely got to be some like it has to be like John Oliver, Jimmy Fallon, some kind of like late night TV show or a YouTube something. It's got to be some like webcast. That's the only thing I really picked up from this episode. So usually that's I usually pick up a little bit more, but I guess this episode was a little better than I thought it was. So it's a good episode. Actually, the more that we're talking about it, actually is a pretty fascinating episode. It's just, yeah, it's a good one.
It's a nothing happened episode, which makes
it's just
you
like
think
this is what happens. Yeah, after he got shot, and
Yeah, after all the chaos of the last couple episodes, and
Mhm.
the hospital episode, and
The calm before the storm.
the RV episode, and
Mhm.
then you had the Hank getting shot episode. Like, this is just kind of a take a breath.
Yeah. So it's like it's crazy. The Breaking Bad doesn't have bad show episodes. It's just there's other episodes that are better
Hmm.
than previous ones. And this one's like it's probably not it's if I would have to rank the episodes, it's probably near the bottom half of the season because the other episodes have been just that much better. Like it's just
Midlife crisis moment.
taxes suck. I think we can both agree on this.
Yes.
Um but the one thing I picked out talking about the guy from Jurassic World 3 or Jurassic Park 3, New Balance sneakers, bro. Like that's the thing. You hit your midlife crisis moment when you are rocking the dad New Balance sneakers.
I tried rocking the New Balance at one point. My feet can't do it. They just don't fit New Balance. Doesn't
And you're
work.
old too. That's
I
weird.
know. Right? Right?
That's weird.
So I'm told.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah, I
just
have
paying attention to your feet though, like that's a big one. That is a big one.
that is
I'm
a
on my
big one.
feet like most of the day, so yeah. I
Yeah,
have to I put out for shoes now. Like, I'm not afraid to spend for shoes if it's the right pair of shoes.
this is true. You have to find like I have work boots that I wear and it's tough at the different conditions and it's like gotta like protect those soles and try not to walk on my heels too much. Cause wear them out and yeah, you gotta have
Mhm.
comfy shoes, man.
My midlife crisis moment, it's cracking a joke to break the tension. And this is Hank with Gomi. It's like this is what Hank does. Yeah, this is what Hank does. However, it works better in that moment than it's ever worked before. Like, it's like, okay, Hank is fine. He cracked his joke. We're gonna be okay. Like, that's what you expect Hank to do in that moment. And
Mhm.
I get that. Every time you have a chance to crack a joke, break the tension, make everybody laugh, it's always better. LVP of the episode. I'll go first on this one. It's the American medical insurance system. I mean, we are now starting a second side plot of this entire show about how
The same thing.
insurance companies screw over their patients, and that spurs on so much of what the show is and what it's about. I mean, come on, come on, do what you're supposed to do.
You're not wrong. Take care of the people.
Seriously.
It's a good one. I'm gonna go with Jesse here as my LVP. I'll explain it. It's clearly they're. I'm really bugged that he is thinking that it's a good idea to. Granted, their plan is working well with Badger and Skinny Pete in this little circle, but eventually that doctor is not dumb. Either he's going to get. They're everybody in that group's going to be addicted to this blue stuff, or they're going to kick Pete and Badger out of this group, or Gus is going to realize he's skimming off the top. Like I do not believe that room is not being surveyed. Like you have to make sure your guy is not just down there collecting money and not producing. Like they're being watched. That one guy pops in and out of that room every so often anyway. So either
But they're
he's like the
doing what
most
they're supposed to do. Like, each of those bins is supposed to be 200 pounds.
but what happened? So they've been doing this for a while now. So each of these bins are supposed to be 200 pounds. So you're telling me that every single bin from day one has been at 200 pounds, or are they only supposed to supply 200 pounds? If they've been giving him extra since day one, you don't think they're actually weighing it themselves?
Well, he didn't go to 200. Like, it was like at 202.3, and he
Uh,
dropped it to 201.8.
all right. Well, that's my bad math in that one too.
He, like
Could
he,
be.
he took like half a
Could be.
pound, but it was
Mm,
still over,
hmm
and everyone's a little different.
Okay. Well, that said, I still think there's a camera in that room. Then there's got to be a camera.
got to be surveillance of some sort. That's
Because what happened to Gale? Are we not saying that Gale is not around still? Just because Walt said goodbye, he's gone. No, that's not his. That's not Walt's employee. That's Gus's employee.
This makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. So Gale's coming back. That's like a foregone conclusion. Like Gale has to be around somewhere. Like I do not think it's just like Walt said, "Oh, sorry, we don't get along. You messed up." Hypothetically, uh, uh yeah, Gale's around somewhere. Maybe he's watching the cameras. Because at the same time as he signed a 3-month deal, right? 3-month deal. Why would you sign a 3-month deal if that was you're into this amazing meth? But you put Gale down there, and was he supposed to learn it so they can get rid of Walt? So then they don't need him anymore, and they don't have to pay out this extra stuff. Like that could be something that even though Gale had his improved as the episode went along, he always seemed fishy from the day one. Like it did not make sense why Walt had no idea that guy was in that room until Gale knew exactly how to play Walt to make him on his side. I think something's going to happen with that. Like that, there's got to be a little bit more to that. I don't think Gale's done.
That was your LVP. We're moving on to MVP.
Oh shit, we haven't even got to the point where what happens next. I thought we were already there. Jeez Louise. I'm sorry. I'm on a tangent.
Going for it. This crappy episode has you just all over the place.
Okay.
And talking about so many different things.
Did I use the word crappy, honestly?
You didn't, but you said it's one of the worst episodes of the season, but it's got your brain spinning in so many different directions.
Okay, well, I'm going to put myself
why
down
it's a
as
great
LVP.
episode. I'm telling you.
I'm going to put myself down as LVP here then, because me saying it's the worst episode of the season.
You said
that was wrong. It's still a good episode. It's still a really good episode. Anyway,
my MVP is Skylar, because my word, she knocks it out of the park with that final scene. Like that whole thing, like the best part of that scene is watching Walt as Skylar just keeps talking, and he's got this look on his face. It's the Ron Burgundy look of I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. I'm just impressed. How did you do that? He just sits back, and is like, huh, where's this coming from? It's still going. She's just completely pulling it out of her ass. And it works. And it totally jives. It totally makes sense. And like he even stops at one point and he has to agree with something. He's like, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. I'll go along with this. Where is this going? And you could tell at the end of it, like Walt was like, how did you do that? And she just looks, learn from the best. And it's like, Walt's just gotta be like just steaming after that. It's like, even when I'm trying to compliment you, you just dig that knife in a little further, twist it just a little more.
Even the thing that she twisted was, I don't believe that you didn't. Hank is in the hospital bed because of you, because like Hank's in the hospital because of you. That's what I truly believe. And he's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, that's the line. That was the dagger line.
But mad props to Skylar. She has an awesome episode. Yeah. I mean, for everything from that to telling off Ted to telling off the hospital lady. I mean, she is rocking this episode.
Yeah, I had her down as MVP because it's time to play the game, and she played it. So that's a good call. However,
she's finally playing the game instead of getting played by the game.
But as Marie, so why did you leave? If you have all this money, why did you leave Walt? That's the one line. How will she spin that? Because they're not gonna believe that he cheated. They've even said that before.
It was getting dangerous. Like that was how she explained away the fugue state by saying he owed so much money, and so it like, yeah, people were after him. Collectors were calling to collect.
Okay, well, okay, maybe that's plausible, but that could be it. But why wouldn't you want to share that with your brother-in-law who's in the police force?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Same reason she didn't do it in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. Good point.
All
All
right.
right. Well, yeah, Skylar's the MVP though for this episode.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've already talked a little bit about what's next, but if you have anything else to add, we're going to wait till after we
The
update
body
our
count.
our Walter White body count at two drug dealers, one car, one custodian's career, one Tuco hideout, one lock, one uneaten burrito, one paper towel holder, rat, one back door to Jesse's house, one love of Jesse's life, a few burned $100 bills, a pepperoni pizza, one career in education, one meth making RV, and one beginning of a galeful friendship. And the Jesse ass kicked count remains at 8, which means we now have Jesse's ass kicked once every 3.6 episodes. So you already speculated a little bit of what's going to come up next. Do you have any more you want to add?
Well, I before this episode's like as they were going along, I thought Walt was gonna like offer up the money. I thought that was gonna
Mm,
kind of happen, but it ended the episode like that and a different twist, which is I think a mad props to Skylar here. Definitely gonna go with Gale. I think Walt also maybe becomes privy to information, like sees him skim. I don't know. I think that's just that's kind of a loose moment there. Honestly, I pretty much had all my guesses were going towards that. That room was bugged. That room has some kind of and there's something bugged in that room that they're being watched in there. So that's what I'll go with. I don't really have anything extra. I kind of prematurely, spoiled what I was going to say here.
okay. Okay. You got some interesting points. You're going to love the next episode. I just know it. You're going to love it. I looked ahead at what episode was next. You're going to love it. You love it.
Okay, I did see this. I did see the title of it. So, okay. Anyway, all right. That's
It
next
truly
week.
is a great episode. It is a great episode.
Okay, take your word for it. All right, next episode is going to be episode 10, but we're not there yet. We're here, and this is how we end the episode today. And that is Kafkaesque, season 3, episode 9 of Breaking Bad. And we just broke it
Breakdown
down.
of Breaking Bad.
Heck
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of every episode, we have to what, Terry?
Sit and spin.